This is WBZ News Mornings.
We begin with breaking news overnight. A barricaded suspect in Alston found dead after a nearly 12-hour standoff. Police were called to the Continuum apartment building on Western Avenue at about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Residents were evacuated into that driving rain. And then that SWAT situation didn't end till about 3 o'clock this morning. Also this morning, cleaning up from a flood of rain. Check out the mess inside the Ted Williams Tunnel last night. Drivers had to navigate several inches of water, which is extremely dangerous. Mass DOT tells us a pump failed, and so debris clogged the drains there in the tunnel. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. It's Thursday, December 12th. I'm Paula Ebben. So the tunnel's back open this morning, but there is plenty of cleanup to do across New England. Strong winds and heavy rain knocked out power, brought down trees, flooded neighborhoods. WBZ's Laura Hafley's in Hull with a damage report there.
The good news is here in Hull, the water from last night's storm has receded in a community that is prone to flooding, but they've gotten really good at protecting themselves by building seawalls like this one that line the ocean, preventing some of that ocean water from flooding into the communities. Now, despite a lack of damage here, there have been some damages around our area, including in Brighton. There were several downed trees, one that fell right on top of a car, damaging the back windshield, several crashes on the pike from those heavier pockets of rain, and both the commuter rail and Logan Airport saw issues, including delays and cancellations. And down in Rhode Island, we saw significant damages as well, forcing police to close major roadways. Agencies did pre-position themselves so that they were able to deal with those damages as soon as the storm stopped.
We've got over 1,400 personnel, including back office support, that are actively working this storm. We brought in a bunch of additional crews. We've got over 180 additional crews that we brought in addition to our folks. So be patient with us. We're working as hard as we can, and we'll get the power back on as soon as we can. As soon as it's safe to do so, we're out there working. Currently
here in Massachusetts, there are still roughly 3,000 customers without power. In Hull, Laura Hafley, WBZ News.
We have breaking news this morning. Check of our next weather forecast as we look at a much calmer scene out there this morning. Jason, Charles River looks like a pleasant place to be. That was not the case about 12 hours ago.
Oh, no, it definitely was not the case there. You saw about a lot of those damage reports that our Laura Hafley was discussing there earlier. We had some delays yesterday at Logan Airport. Also, MBTA also had some delays as well. And as we look at our forecast over the next 24 to 48 hours, we're likely going to have a drier, more stable air mass upon us. But again, this is also going to be a day of cleanup as well. National Grid did warn us that we're definitely going to be several thousands without power yesterday. And one side of the coin was the rain that we had to deal with. 2+ inches of rainfall fell across several locations, several townships all across eastern Massachusetts. Over 4.5 inches was recorded yesterday in Providence. And look at the rain that really sort of began to dance across the region yesterday. A 24 to 36 hour loop was lit up from freezing rain to heavy rain. It came in bands yesterday morning, and then a lull early in the afternoon, and then another swath of heavy rain developed as we moved towards the sunset hour yesterday. Now we're left with very cold temperatures. Negatives across the upper Midwest. You can see -7 right now in Minneapolis, -2 in Green Bay, single digits right this hour there in Chicago, teens in Detroit, 20s in Buffalo, and look at the Atlantic coast from Wilmington north of 95 all the way through the city of Boston, mid to upper 30s. And only a growth of 4 degrees. It's 35 degrees in Wilmington, 39 here in the city of Boston. A drier start. Chilly winds will develop later on this afternoon. Would be right around 40 degrees. So no impacts this morning in terms of the commute as well as exercise outdoors. And same goes for later on today. However, the overnight lows, though, Paula, deserve some attention. And I'll pick things up from there coming up in that full.
All right, Jason, thanks. We have breaking news this morning. President Biden's commuting the sentences of about 1,500 people and pardoning another 39 in the largest single-day act of clemency in modern history. The commuted sentences are all for people who were released from prison and placed on home confinement during the pandemic. The pardons are for individuals who were convicted of nonviolent crimes, including drug offenses. Biden says he'll continue to review more petitions for clemency UNC in the next few weeks. We're learning more about the evidence police are collecting in the shooting death of the CEO of United Healthcare. Investigators say they're using forensics now to build the case against the suspect. Jared Hill is in New York with the latest details.
Just days after the man accused of killing Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was taken into custody, New York investigators say evidence is placing him at the scene of the crime. They say shell casings found at the scene matched the 3D printed ghost gun 26-year-old Luigi Mangione had with him when he was arrested in Pennsylvania on Monday, plus a fingerprint match.
With fingerprints that we found on both the water bottle and the Kind bar near the scene of the homicide.
Collected near Starbucks, where surveillance video appears to show he'd stopped about half an hour before Brian Thompson was murdered. The NYPD says they found a cell phone in an alley near the hotel where the murder happened, with a matching fingerprint as well.
What they're doing is they're buttressing what they already have with further evidence.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News Mangione had a spiral notebook with him when he was arrested, where he wrote about considering using a gun over a bomb to carry out an attack because it was targeted, precise, and doesn't risk innocence. Mangione's lawyer says he plans to plead not guilty. The killing of Thompson, a husband and father of two, has elevated anger over the health insurance industry. Caroline Roan of Pfizer.
I think all of us are taking a step back and trying to understand what's happening with patients and their experiences.
Yesterday, the CEO of United Health sent a message to employees vowing to make healthcare work better for everyone. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren is clarifying some comments she made a few days ago about the United Healthcare CEO murder. Earlier this week, she told the Huffington Post, quote, "The visceral response from people across this country who feel cheated, ripped off, and threatened by the vile practices of their insurance companies should be a warning to everyone in the healthcare system." But yesterday, her office sent a statement to WBZ saying, quote, "Violence is never the answer, period. I should have been much clearer that there is never a justification for murder." Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is postponing her upcoming State of the City address by 2 months. The speech is typically delivered the first or second week of January. However, the mayor is due with her third baby on January 15th. So she tells GBH Radio delaying the address to March will give her time to recover after welcoming her third child. Boston teachers are set to stage walk-ins across the city today as they fight for a new contract. Teachers, along with students, families, and their supporters, will hold these demonstrations at 25 schools this morning. The union says these will be its largest collective walk-ins to date. Boston teachers have been working without a contract since the end of August. Well, we're getting a first-hand look at an unusual rescue in Fall River. Take a look. Police shared body camera video from a home on Canal Street. Might remind you of the Grinch. They say they tried to serve a search warrant there Tuesday, and this man, Robert Langley, tried to get away by sliding down the chimney. He got stuck, so firefighters had to come help get him out. He is now facing several charges. Well, there could be a major staffing issue at TD Garden pretty soon as hundreds of employees plan a possible strike. About 600 union workers have been negotiating for a new contract since the summer. This weekend, they plan to vote on whether to authorize a strike that would leave the Garden without employees to work concession stands, sell merchandise, and serve guests. They're calling for higher commission rates to combat the rising cost of living in and around Boston, and say they're also concerned about increasing automation taking their jobs.
Starting to become an issue, but hadn't really picked up to the point where it was going to impact jobs that much. And then we've seen indications that the company just wants to introduce more and more of it.
The union says if they don't reach a contract deal with the Garden by the end of the week, they will vote on the strike on Sunday. Well, hey, news this morning, Bill Belichick has a new job. The former Patriots head coach is heading south to coach the college kids in the football program at UNC. WBZ's Levin Reed is here with reaction. So he's got to get a Carolina blue hoodie and cut the sleeves off.
You know what's funny? That's I feel like we should go online now and just get it before it starts. You know, because none of us did see this coming. We all knew that Bill Belichick wanted to get back into coaching, but many of us thought that he would try and go after one of the possible possibly 8 head coaching jobs that are going to open up in the NFL this offseason. Instead, Coach is going back to school. He's received a 5-year deal from the University of North Carolina. Now, there are a couple of reasons why this is a huge surprise. Bill Belichick is 72 years old and will be the oldest coach at the FBS level. He's also just 15 wins shy of Don Shula's all-time wins record in the NFL. Current Patriots quarterback Drake May is a Chapel Hill alum, and he thinks Bill Belichick, well, he'll be a great fit for the program.
Legendary coach, the success he had here, and what a great place Chapel Hill is. So, anytime you have a legendary, NFL coach going back to, college, I think it's cool to get that defense rolling, and it's a fun spot. I think it's a great spot, a great coaching job. I can't blame him. It's an awesome place.
I'm excited for the opportunity at UNC Chapel Hill. I grew up around college football with my dad and treasured those times. I've always wanted to coach in college, and now I'm looking forward to building the football program in Chapel Hill. Now, as for the fans locally, well, they are all on board.
My initial thought is now I'm going to have to watch UNC next year, right? I have to watch college football because I'm going to see what Belichick's going to do.
Just knowing he's going to be a Tar Heel, it's going to be a lot different. I can guarantee that. Those boys, let's just hope they're ready to win at least.
Get ready for the press conferences to be like, well, I don't know. I'm just a football coach here. I'm not the NIL director. Moving on to the Red Sox, acquiring a new starting pitcher, Garrett Crochet. He's coming to Boston from the White Sox in exchange for 4 prospects. The 25-year-old lefty had 209 strikeouts last season, only 33 walks. That was his first season as a starter. He also has the 6th highest strikeout rate in a single season in MLB history. Paula, back to you.
I have an idea for you, Levin.
Yes.
You could sell your skills talking with Bill Belichick to all the reporters down there in Chapel Hill.
You have to go through the question in your head like 13 times and say, let me rephrase that because you're going to say it this way. And I'm going to ask, he's only a football coach.
Then wait for the monosyllabic
Exactly.
answer.
And by the way, those players, don't say a word.
Yeah, no.
Don't say anything.
Do your job.
Just do your job.
All right, Levin, thanks.